Imagine earning money while you're sleeping, exploring the world, or just enjoying the everyday moments in life. A lot of people like the idea or want to have the idea of passive income, yet they don't really know where to even begin with it. In this video, we're going to look at some passive income strategies and ways that you can implement it. Hopefully you're able to use just a little bit about what I will say throughout this video and be able to actually utilize this into making your own passive income strategy. Passive income is a term typically described as being able to make income with very little or no actual effort involved, aside from the initial setup of some sort of process. The whole idea of it is unlike active income where you have to go to work, you have to actually actively be doing something to earn money, you have to have some time set aside in order to work a certain amount of hours to earn that income. It's the concept that you just essentially set it up and be able to let it sit and it just grows, or it actually makes income for you. So before I hop into a couple of strategies, I want to just take note of a couple of different things. First, there will be some sort of initial investment involved, whether that's a monetary investment where you have to put a certain amount of dollars into a product or a service or being able to build a brand, or it is your time. I mean, time is money in a sense. If you're putting time towards building passive income where you could actually be working extra hours at your current employer, then there's that trade-off of whether does it make sense to start a passive income type strategy and do a side hustle, or does it make sense just to work more hours overall? So the two main things to consider is the monetary side of it, the money side, and then also the time side. Those are two big things that you need to consider and weighing the pros and cons to see whether it makes sense for you in your current situation. Another thing to note is age is irrelevant at this time. I mean, the amount of money that you make at a certain age might dictate whether you want to actually pursue this, but age isn't really a hindering factor here. So if you're only 10 years old and you want to start doing a side hustle, or you're in your 40s and 50s and want to do a side hustle, it really doesn't matter. Let's hop into a couple of passive income strategies. Number one, investment income. And this is a typical answer that you hear a lot of people say is, I want to have something passive. I want to be able to make money while I'm sleeping. Well, investment income is one of the ways to do that. You put your money into an investment. It's working for you, hopefully, if it's growing, while you're sleeping, while you're able to do other things that you don't necessarily need to focus on it all the time. This income can be derived from dividends, it can be interest, it can be capital gains, it can be rental income, but in the end, it is money that is working for you without you doing any effort. This is a relatively easy strategy to implement. All you have to do is create an account, open it, and start funding it. Whether it's $100 or $100,000, it doesn't really matter. Anyone can really do this as long as you're able to open an account, but it is able to produce some sort of passive income for you in a sense. Number two is real estate investments. Now, when investing in real estate and owning a second property, you're able to rent that out and hopefully produce a monthly income that's reoccurring. Now, this is relatively passive aside from you being the landlord and having to maintain the property, but it is income that is either going towards yourself or helping to pay down potential debt that you have to take on or being able to spend. Unfortunately, this is one of those passive income strategies that you commonly hear, but not a lot of people can do it because it does take a huge amount of investment up front. In order to qualify for a mortgage, in order to put a down payment on a property, you're going to need a lump sum of money. Now, with that being said, there are some options for you as an investor to invest in real estate without putting a huge lump sum forward. And that's called a real estate investment trust, or a REIT for short. And essentially it is the same idea, but you're buying a fraction of maybe a property or maybe a corporate office, or having some sort of big fund that has multiple different real estate properties, and there's able to have some sort of cash flow within that. Some monthly rental income that's coming in. Now, it might not be as big as the monthly income if you were to buy the property, but you're also putting less up front. Number three is buying and selling, or better known as flipping. If you have a hobby or have an expertise in something, or just generally like something, a product or a service, and you know it quite well, utilize that to your advantage and leverage that in order to make an extra income. Use platforms that act as a marketplace, such as Facebook, Craigslist, Kijiji, all these different platforms to help kind of buy and sell your product and flip them for a profit. If you're able to notice certain trends in the industry or certain things that are becoming popular, you're able to actually capitalize on this and make a decent amount of money. For example, when I was younger, being the entrepreneur that I am, I saw this need that a lot of people like the idea of fidget spinners. I don't know why, it was just one of those things that was kind of popping during this time. And I was able to find essentially a wholesaler that sold me these fidget spinners for a cheap cost. And I resold them when I was about 13, 14 years old. And I sat at the mall and just resold them and sold them and sold them. And I made a couple $100 in a day. Now, it's not something crazy, but it's something that is relatively easy, that I bought something and I sold it and made a profit. Number 4 is digital products or courses. If you have some sort of expertise or you enjoy doing something, you can leverage that and utilize it as by creating a book, like an ebook or a digital course that you can sell to people, or be able to utilize any sort of online technology that you particularly enjoy or you're good at. Especially if there's demand for the type of content or the type of thing that you're doing, this could be a very profitable way to make some passive income. Number 5 is affiliate marketing or a referral program. And this is typically seen through promotions, websites, blogs, a lot of people just talking about a company that's wanting to grow or gain traction on a certain product or service, and they're using people to do that. And this involves just promoting these links or referrals through your website, blog, social media, all those types of things. And it's as simple as when someone makes a purchase or signs up through your link, you earn a commission. Relatively simple, relatively easy, it takes very little work to do, but you're able to earn an income potentially off of it. This is more suited towards those individuals that can have a large following because it's easier for them to gain traction. But many companies have these referral links kind of set up for them to grow their brand, such as EQ Bank, which they have a high interest savings account, and I'll leave a link to the description below. But that's just an example of affiliate marketing, whereas if you sign up, we get a little bit of a commission, but also you get an extra bonus as well. And it's something that's fairly easy to promote to friends. Now, don't be that type of person that's constantly sending referral links and being a nuisance. I don't advise that. Number 6 is print-on-demand products. And this has become extremely popular kind of as online shopping has taken off. But the whole idea is that you create a design for some sort of t-shirt, hoodie, mug, phone case, and it's a design. It's not actually made until someone purchases it. So there's very little or zero upfront cost, essentially, and it's only sold if someone purchases it. So there's no real risk for you as a designer to do this. Now, for most of you, if you don't have a creative mind, maybe not the best idea, but if you enjoy art, if you enjoy kind of making logos or different types of themes, then this could be something that you could potentially monetize. Number 7 is setting up an automated online business. This may take some initial time to actually set up and gain traction, but once it does, it's going to be relatively lucrative because you've done all the hard work up front. A commonly known website that a lot of people make automated businesses is through Etsy or maybe an Amazon affiliate program. A good example of this is actually from a friend of mine who decided that he wanted to buy paddle boards. And this is kind of just when paddle boards was taking off. It was becoming really popular, but he was able to buy a bulk order of paddle boards from Alibaba. It had to be bulk order. You couldn't buy a single one. And because it was bulk, he was able to get it for a relatively good deal. Now, he was able to sign up for an Amazon affiliate program and post it there. And once someone bought that paddleboard, it was shipped directly to them. So he never actually held the product. He was just the middleman that kind of facilitated the transaction. Now, it made him a couple $1,000 in under a month. He did quite well with it. And he didn't really decide to make a business out of it because he noticed that the market was just getting flooded. And as you can kind of see, there's paddleboards everywhere. It's very common now. It's not a lot of people are selling them or flipping them to make money because it's just such a flooded market. But in an idea, that was a really good business model or business that could have done quite well if the market didn't get too flooded. So that is just one kind of example of how you can set up an automated business. Number 8 is creating some sort of side hustle. Whether you're a consultant, a handyman, or just able to give some sort of advice to someone, being able to set up an extra form of income through something you specialize in can be very lucrative in the end. Especially if you're able to leverage that through the content you create to eventually push traffic towards what you actually do. Now, it's not entirely passive because it is something that you most likely are doing as a career or kind of as a side, but it is a way to generate a bit more income. Number 9, rent out your stuff. If you have something that has some sort of value and is not an inconvenience to you to rent out, why not make a little bit of extra income from it? For example, rent out a parking stall. The other day, I saw a note in my condo that someone was looking for additional parking, and I had an additional parking spot that I was never using. We only have one vehicle, so we had an empty space, and they were wanting to pay $50 a month for this. Well, that $50 a month, even though it's not very much, I didn't have to do anything. I owned the stall already. I wasn't going to do anything with it. It's extra income in its sense. So utilizing something that you have, maybe it's a parking stall, maybe it is a driveway, maybe it's an electric bike, and maybe it's your vehicle as a whole. I mean, Turo is an app where you can actually rent out your vehicle for a specific period of time. There's multiple ways that you can rent out certain things, and people have become quite creative with the things they rent out, and they can make extra money from it. It's important to note that passive income does not mean no effort. It means that you're most likely going to have to put some time, maybe some money, some initial investment into it, and some research into what you're going to do. It's also not one of those things that is immune to the economy and how it kind of is structured. So make sure that when you're looking at these streams that you're not just putting your eggs all in one basket, that you're able to diversify a little bit and kind of see where the market trends are happening. Is your passive income becoming flooded? Is it something that's eventually not going to make you an income anymore? Looking at these different things are important. Now, if this video has kind of got your mind thinking about what are some ways that I can make some extra money or what are some ways I can make a passive income, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel or leave a comment below on maybe some passive income strategies that you've created for yourself. If you're able to create some passive income strategies that work well for you, then you're one step closer to growing your wealth to a place where eventually you can retire.